And so let's talk about that. What motivates you, Eva?
Winning, beating the banks, beating the people who think they should be winning because they prey on people not knowing what their rights are or not being aware. That's what drives me, like, honestly.
So here's the real mystery. How do regular folks like you and me, who have families and real lives, who have careers and regular 9-to-5s, really fare in the personal finance game? Why are some hugely successful while others fail miserably time and time again? Those are the glaring questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios.
All right, and welcome to another episode of EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios. My name is Charles McGill. I'm your host. So excited to be talking to you guys today. But before we get started, got to make sure the credit boss, aka credit coach, is in the building. Miss Eva Palacios, you in the house?
What's up? Yes.
Hey, so how you doing this week?
Good. Another week that just flew by. I don't know what day it is.
Yeah, I know. What day is it? I've been so busy doing a whole bunch of stuff, but busy is good in our world, right?
Busy is definitely good. I'm just so blessed to be busy.
Yes, we had
that should be a cool shirt.
Blessed to be busy. Yeah, actually.
That would be dope.
Not bad. We had a really exciting webinar recently.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know how many you've done so far, but it's like you just get better and better each time. And it's always great and valuable information, but you kind of change it up every so often. And
definitely every webinar is going to be different. It's so not scripted. Half the time I don't even know what I say.
Yeah. Well, it was really good. Things have just been going well. We had 10 new Lions join us? That's amazing.
That's huge. And it's what's crazy is strangers. Like, these are people like I don't even know. They just follow me on social media, or they're a part of the EmpowerYou Financial group, or somebody else is inside the Lions Club, and then they've been talking about it. Yeah. So I'm just like, let's go. Let's go. It is amazing.
No, and we really appreciate too the Lions. Shout out to all the Lions who are spreading the word. I don't know. I might tease this right now, but he was looking at me like, "Are you sure?" You guys should have saw her face. So we got some stuff working for y'all. So so shout out to the Lions. Just know, I won't say it now, but just know something's coming for you guys. Something special is coming for you guys.
Yes. Very special. And it's so funny because this morning somebody just asked, not somebody in the group, somebody outside the group. They're like, Eva. And then ...
Yeah, ... Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So something's coming special for the Lions. So shout out to you guys. And, when you guys hear this podcast, which will be next week, and when you guys hear it, so whenever you hear it, check in and see if we're going to roll out that new thing for you guys, but it's very special.
Yes.
So we're really excited about that. So lots of cool things, lots of great things happening right now. I guess what's on top of mind for a lot of people this week, that we're recording this, just a few days ago, a lot of folks got their, the new round of stimulus checks.
Yeah.
And this particular, amount seemed to be a little bit more than just, the cracker that they were offering before.
It is so crazy as to how many people messaged me that morning. Like, OMG, did they make a mistake? Like, where did this money come from? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think they could take it back. Maybe, but while you have it,
they definitely could. They definitely could take it back.
They probably can. Yeah, government. Yes, they can.
That's right.
But while we have it, let's put it to use, good use, strategic use. But I was just so amazed as to, number one, how many people were reaching out, asking me, Eva, what should I do? Or number two, Eva, look what I just did with it. And every person that showed me what they did with it, I'm like, applause, freaking amazing. I did not see no crazy nonsense happening. At least, the people who were messaging me, they were like, boom, zero balance now. Boom, just pay this off. Boom, put this here. I'm like, I am so proud of each and every single one of you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Definitely proud moment of all of my students.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that, I'll just say for me, it's so interesting. Like whenever these kind of stimulus are coming around, you tend to see a lot of advice floating around on the internet, right? A lot of people
and memes. Oh my God.
And
the memes are
yeah.
so funny.
The memes are hilarious, right? The memes are hilarious. But it's funny though, it's also depends on where you're at though. See, that's the thing.
That's true. Cause some may not be funny.
Exactly.
Some may be like, oh, that's a little.
It's a little bit. Yeah.
Punch,
yeah.
Jab.
That's right. Yeah. So, I've seen both. I've seen where, there's people who may be positioned very well, like who've been doing very well. I've been, there's a lot of people that are, throughout this pandemic have been flourishing, right?
Yeah.
And doing well. So, any extra to them is really extra. So, in terms of the options that they have, they're exploring things, and they're often, kind of telling people, hey man, don't waste your money on crab legs and, and Jordans and stuff like that. Right.
Saw those. Oh my God.
And so
crab legs, I think I'm kind of hungry now.
Exactly. They're like, oh, that's kind of good. But so you got those, and then you have, the other folks who, being real, like who are still struggling, right? Who are behind on a lot of things. And so while the amount is something that's appreciated, it's still not enough to necessarily get them, over, they're still not in the black. They may be still in the red. So,
yes,
they're not able to necessarily, start a business. Or there was one that I saw, it was so hilarious. I can't even remember all of it. It was very detailed, but it basically said something like, don't go buy crab legs, go buy the ocean and lease the water to the crabs and get an LLC and do like all this thing, just like make this whole elaborate
They really
plan.
Put some thought into that one.
It was hilarious because it was kind of a dig on the people who are like, go start a business and, flip this money and this and that.
Yeah.
And it's like tongue in cheek, but obviously there is some real like jewels in there if you can do it, but also was kind of making fun of the people who are like, thinking that everyone can just, become a business owner, and everyone's just like, wasting their time and money if they're not able to flip the money that they desperately need. They gotta pay rent, but they're like, don't pay rent. Go and start a business
or invest here.
Yeah.
And roof
exactly.
over your head first. Roof over your head first, because that money don't come back. We don't need homeless people.
Exactly. Oh right. But because this is such a hot topic, and obviously you are, the credit coach, credit guru, and also just, personal finance coach, love to talk to you about some of the things that you are seeing. Obviously you're seeing some great things with our Lions, but also some of the things you want to just kind of help people around, because one thing I really appreciate about you is that you're able to empathize. You're able to not just look at it from one way and say, no, only you could do it this way. You actually think about context and think about people's situations and
absolutely the whole picture, not just, okay, you're receiving this money, I'm in debt, let's pay off the debt. Boom. Now life is better. No, like it's not, unfortunately, it shouldn't be as simple as that. It needs to be more strategic.
Yeah. So let's talk about those strategies, because you've even working with me, just transparency, like, there's a number of things that I have have choices around. I'm like, man, I don't know how to best approach this. And so you're able to kind of pull back and say, hey, Charles, so here's a couple of different options. And if we, do it this way, we can actually leverage cash flow and increase your cash flow and, all these different things. And so let's talk about some of those scenarios, because I think that it would be helpful for folks, to hear that and, understand that, hey, there's definitely a time to celebrate and kind of, do some things that you may enjoy. There's also some strategy around, delaying gratification, right? And then also just being strategic about, when you get extra funds, how do you manage them so that you can always be leveling up? Because ultimately what we want, right? We don't want people just to level up for a month. You know, it's about a lifestyle.
For a day.
Or for a day. That's right. You ball out for a day, have a really good meal, and then back to life.
And then tomorrow.
That's right.
We got to figure out how we're going to eat.
That's right. So yeah. So talk to me. So, you know, for example, you know, if you have, so I can give you like a scenario that I'm just, you know, kind of thinking about, but I imagine that there may be some people who are like, you know, I'm behind in my rent, you know, I may be behind in some bills. I have credit card debt. You know, I am making money, right? I'm still earning money, but not enough to, you know, really overcome what I have. You know, and I just want to make sure that me and my family can stay wherever we are staying. And I just want to make sure that we keep the lights on and keep food on the table. We have this extra money, you know, and I know I didn't give you any specifics, but
right.
In general, how would you approach kind of coaching this person on what to do?
Absolutely. So for those who are, you know, experiencing a deficit, you know, you're in the hole, you are behind with things, or you owe, you know, creditors money. The first step is, are you constantly in the hole? Like, are you just in the hole because, you know, COVID hit, you lost hours and now you're down $5,000? Or is it every single month you're in the hole $1,000? I think that's point number one, because if you're just trying to catch up from being negative $5,000 and now every month you're fine, then yes, we definitely want to strategically use that stimulus in a way that's going to make most sense to lessen that $5,000 burden. Versus if you're constantly in the hole $1,000 or $500 a month, then we got to take a look at, okay, well, why is that? Is it because, you know, your hours used to be 40 hours and now you're only at 30 hours, so now you're constantly in the negative? Or is it because you haven't even thought about trimming back some of those expenses monthly that sometimes, you know, when they're on automatic pay, we forget about them. And we're so busy trying to get hours at work or make more money that we're forgetting how much money is being spent. So
let's hold on. Let's pause there, because I think those are two really great distinctions. And I don't know that a lot of people think about that. So you said, let's separate, you know, there's a difference between, are you kind of temporarily in the hole, as in something recently happened that set you back, and there's, you know, you're in the hole as a result, or are you perpetually in the hole, as in this is your lifestyle? Like you know, you don't earn enough to make ends meet, and this is just kind of where you are every single month.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about the one that's, you know, in the hole, let's just say $5,000, you know, COVID hit over a year ago now, and many people, they let them credit cards go. Now, I mean, a year later, they are most likely in collections. They're most likely charged off. A credit card company will only hold on to your account for 6 months. For, you know, 6 months consecutive, no payments, boom, charge it off. They sell it to a third party, whether it's a collection agency, a law firm, or an attorney. You know, the catch-22 is, yes, you're dinged on your credit report, but because it's now gone to a third-party collector, guess what? You can negotiate a settlement on that. So if you're thinking in your mind, I owe 3 credit cards a total of $5,000 and they're not now all in collections, now we need to have a discussion. Because when they go into collections, guess what? A bunch of fees was tacked on, collection costs is tacked on. You can literally negotiate pennies on the dollar for those accounts. So mentally, you may think, I owe these people $5,000, but what if you can settle them all out for $2,500? Now you've taken, you know, some or maybe all of the stimulus to completely wipe out those accounts. You got 3 less negatives on your credit report, and now potentially you're debt free. You know, that would be one way to tackle that situation.
Yeah. So you're saying, you know, you may have a debt in a certain amount that they're saying reporting, but you're saying that if it's in a certain state like collections, that there may be some room to negotiate in terms of getting the debt reduced.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right. So I mean, I know you got lots of students out there. Have any people been taking advantage of that kind of, approach?
Absolutely. I mean, the people that I'm talking to definitely are very goal oriented. So they already have something that they're fighting for. And it's either fighting for that good, excellent credit score. It's fighting for buying the house. It's fighting for buying a better car. It's fighting for refinancing the mortgage, which in turn is going to free up more cash flow, putting them in a better financial position. But yeah, a lot of my students who have these collection accounts sitting there, we're strategically talking about, okay, based on, how long they've been there, how much is owed, who the collector is, all of that information. I can tell them, oh, these guys, they'll settle for this dollar amount. Call them, say this, and this is what's going to happen. And sure enough, awesome. People's minds are like, Eva, like you literally are dropping golden nuggets right now. Like you literally saved me $2,500. And I'm like, yes, let's go. Let's see what else we can do.
Yeah, no, because that's real. Because I remember, what was it? The other week you had someone who, was it $9,800?
Oh my gosh. Yes. A $9,800 balance that was the car was in an accident. So it had a deficiency balance. When you get in your accident, insurance doesn't pay the whole car off. So now there's a balance out there for a car that you don't even have. Well, the goal is home ownership. And guess what? That account is more than 7 years old. Yeah, you can get it deleted, but this account was not. This account was about 3 years old, not going away anytime soon. Mm-hmm. But we're talking almost a $10,000 debt. Good luck trying to find a decent home loan interest rate with that on your credit report. Mm-hmm. So sure enough, strategically coach this client and got that $9,800 balance settled for $900.
$900.
Almost an $8,000 savings.
That's crazy. And here's the thing. So, and I mean, I can imagine that person was thinking and probably preparing themselves to figure out how they could pay that, total amount, because they need it to be gone, right? They got to move on.
Or in this case, they were thinking like, I'm going to probably have to pay at least $5,000 of this.
Wow. So yeah.
Saving a whole bunch of people money.
And so just so you guys know, I mean, just a quick, and I'm going to be blunt. Just a quick plug here. This is what Eva provides in her coaching program. And so folks are sometimes concerned about the cost of the program, but what we try to explain to folks is that the information you're getting, you're going to make that money back and times over, right? Because of the knowledge. So whether, she's helping you get a credit card for $10,000 and you've never had one more than $1,000 before, or you're, paying off something a lot less than you thought you would have had to, that's still money, that's ultimately saving you and eventually helping you get a house and things like that, which is equity and leverage and helping you get business. There's a lot of stuff. So guys,
it spirals real quick.
If you haven't tuned into the webinar yet, please go ahead and do that. Do yourself a favor, make sure you're there and get with Eva. So anyway, back to the other people who maybe are perpetually kind of in the hole. What would you say to them in terms of how to approach that?
Absolutely. Well, whenever there is a negative cash flow or a deficit in a monthly budget, you only really have two options. Either number one, increase the income. Or number two, let's review these expenses and let's see, is there anything we can completely get rid of? Is there anything that we can reduce? Is there anything that we can put on pause for the time being? And I think the thing is that, we're so caught up with life. We're caught up in going to work and trying to make the money to get out of the hole, or we're wives, we're husbands, we're parents, we're caregivers. We're just in that cycle of we got to keep doing to eventually get out of this mess. But a lot of the times people don't realize, or they're not aware, especially when bills are on auto pay, they forget how much they're paying for things. Like, for example, the number one killer of these budgets that I'm going through are these online or automatic subscriptions. And let's talk about them, you know, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, even the cable bill, the internet, the gym membership. Guys, if your gym is closed or for whatever reason, every time you try to go, it's crazy packed, then you need to call your gym membership and be like, hey, can we put this on pause for the time being? I mean, to you, it may feel like, oh, it's only $25. It's only $15. It's only $10. Add them all up. You add up all of those subscriptions, you're looking at $200, $300, $400 a month.
Yeah, I just experienced that yesterday at Costco with my wife. And she was like grabbing stuff. And I was like, babe, no, we don't need that. It's only $7. It's only $8. I said, you've said that 5 times now. So it ain't only $7.
Because by the time you exit, you got a $400 Costco receipt.
And sure enough, I told her, I said, that cart, that's $400. And guess what it came to? $412. I was, man, I was so, anyway, but you know, we actually do need a lot of that stuff just for our preschool. So, but still, I was like, oh, like, you know, make sure we need all of that.
Yeah. Or eat it all up before you buy some more.
That's the thing. I'm telling you, that's the new rule. I said, like, hey, is it gone? If I go into that pantry and I see any food in there, we have problems.
And let's be real. Like, let's be real. How many of us have a stocked pantry, refrigerator in the garage, things in the cabinets? Unless them shelves are empty,
oh man,
there's still food in the house.
You stepping on my toes, Eva.
I'm sorry. But it's not just you. It's not just you. It's, let's look at the grocery bill. Mm-hmm. Let's look at the eating out bill. That's the number 2 killer of the budgets, is the eating out expense and the grocery bill.
Well, you know what? And seriously, I always tell my family, I'm like, every time I go anywhere with y'all, anywhere, it don't matter. If we drive and we go, we spend any time anywhere, I come back $100 lighter. Like, it's just every single time, you know, because the size of my family, and, you know, especially it's just like every time we can't even go to Chick-fil-A without me dropping $60 to $80.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy, you know, like, especially when I think back, you know, like I was in my 20s and, you know, we was just trying to, you know,
$20 went a long way back then.
Well, I couldn't have met $20 at like Taco Bell or whatever, McDonald's. You're like, what are you getting with all that? That's like, we got a whole
tribe. We feed the tribe with $20.
What's going on? But nowadays, man, that you eat that up real quick, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, and again, it's the moments of being aware, being aware of where every single dollar goes, and getting good with making sure you feel you are a winner every single month when you're paying those bills.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, let's talk about, like, you know, you and I have always had this conversation. I'm like, it's up to me. We'd cut the Comcast bill. Like, I don't even watch TV up in here, but, you know, hubby, he needs you guys need your sports.
That's right.
I get it.
ESPN.
So here's a perfect example. And here's a tip that I'm going to drop right now. How long have you been with your cable company? Number 1, chances are years. Number 2, do you ever call them and say, hey, I've been with you for 5 years. Is there anything you can do to lower my cable bill? Is there any new promotions? Maybe you're paying more for the same thing the new customer would get because they're a new customer. They're treated better. No, you better call and say, hey, I've been a loyal customer for these many months or years. How can we lower this bill? Here's the tip. Guess what me and Will do? Most cable type services are a year or 2 years contract. Guess what we're doing every single year or 2 years? We are flipping the script. 1 year, you get the bill. The next year, or cut the bill off in his name. Now I'm the new customer. So now I qualify for all the new promotions at a lower rate. We switch in the bill in my name. Following year goes right back. Maybe we switch it to Desmond. Yes, same household. But we switch into new customers every time that contract expires because new customers get better rates.
And that's the truth. But I didn't know that you would go through that.
Why not? If that's going to save me $50 to $100 a month.
Yeah.
$600 to $1,200 a year for the rest of our lives. Because who's cutting off the cable bill? Put in the work. Put in the work.
Yeah.
Hey, quick break here. Sorry to interrupt the podcast. We'll get you right back to it. We just want to spend a few seconds to talk about the EmpowerYou financial group on Facebook. This is Eva's private Facebook group where she gives free tips, tricks, and strategies to improve your financial situation. Join the over 1,000 plus member community and see the success stories of people just like you who want to live life on their own terms. Come laugh with us, tell your story, and share your victories. Just search EmpowerYou Financial in Facebook and join our free private group. Oh, and be sure to invite a friend.
So think about it. You do that with your cable bill. You put your gym subscription on pause. There goes another $25. Maybe you don't need all of the Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus. Maybe you do. That's totally cool too. But where can we trim little by little by little to make our money work for us?
I think that, so all those are, amazing tips and things that, I think a lot of people haven't considered. But one thing also I want to think about too is, because my mind goes to, okay, so I'm able to save, $200 or whatever, but what's to stop me from finding something else to spend $200 on? Because that's how I know a lot of people, I'm gonna speak for people. I'll say me, how we've done it in the past is that, we'll free up $400, but then it's like, oh, well, now we got $400 to spend on something else, And so, I wanted to kind of talk, about so kind of, dial this back a little bit and think about holistically, because I feel like, there's reasons why you look for those savings and you're committed to those savings.
Yep.
And there's reasons why others may not see them, right? And may not recognize them.
Yep.
And so what I'm thinking is this is more about, kind of like why we spend, like the question around, why we're spending, what we're spending on, and kind of like what motivates our spending, right?
Yep.
And so I want us to talk a little bit about that, because for me, it seems like, most people that are struggling, or maybe not even I won't say struggling, but just most people, may be motivated by things like, hey, just, honestly, just enjoying themselves, right? Having some things that they enjoy, having some because you think about cable and things like that. Those are really, it's about entertainment, right? Being entertained, going out. It's about satisfying.
Giving you the warm and fuzzies.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good.
Exactly. So, so a lot of people are motivated by that. Like each month I have to pay these bills, but also I want to feel good. I want to enjoy, something, have some things that I enjoy. Like, maybe you have
because you work so hard for your money that you feel like you're a prisoner and you need to celebrate and feel good of all of your accomplishments and hard work.
Yeah. So you have those individuals, and they're not, and this is not saying, I want to make sure I'm giving context here. This is not like a good or bad thing. I'm just trying to identify kind of like what are the motives that people have and how they
us.
Exactly. How do we spend, right? How do we approach spending every month, right? Yep. Some people it's based on needs, right? And necessity, and because they don't have a lot, and there's not a lot of options. So they have to make choices and do things based on what's available, right? They have limited options. And so they're motivated by, survival, or just, honestly, just making ends meet, just making sure that there's just something available in terms of food, that there's, a place to live. You know what I mean? Yeah. There may be those motivations. And then you have other people who are motivated by things like, maybe generational wealth or legacy, or, maybe they're trying to, I don't know, buy a house one day, or they're trying to save for their kids' tuition or what, there's different motivating factors. And I think that, we either are not aware of it, or we are aware of it, but either way, there's something that's guiding us. Right. Yeah. And so I want to kind of check in with you and ask you about like, what are the things that guide you, right? Because, a lot of people will look at you and go, man, I want to be like Eva. Like, she's got, 165,000 available credits. She got 800 credit score.
Oh, that just went up.
She's got multiple, houses and investment properties and doing this stuff. She's got her, so it sounds like, hey, she got it together. So what motivates you, right? Like what motivates you to keep going and to be someone who would literally, fight with Comcast and do all this different stuff.
Yeah. Right. I still, yes. I don't care how much money is being made.
Well, yeah. So that's interesting to me. So why? Because, I'll be honest with because one of the homework assignments you gave me was to go, hunt down some money that people owe me. And I'm like, I don't feel like being on the phone for no 2 hours. And you were like, you gave me that look that you guys should see the look that she's giving me right now. And so I had to go ahead and make those phone calls and make sure I got my money. But there's definitely a part of me that was just like, man, I don't feel like doing this, like whatever. But you're like, no, it matters. And so let's talk about that. What motivates you, Eva?
Winning, beating the banks, beating the people who think they should be winning because they prey on people not knowing what their rights are or not being aware. That's what drives me. Like, honestly, like, for example, in the coaching group, I'm talking about, I'm sacrificing this year. No personal spending on myself. Like your girl can't even buy makeup with her own money. We using cashback rewards, buying gift cards and buying makeup and whatever personal needs I need. The reason I did that was because one, I made a deal with my husband. Number two, what drove that was I want to put all extra monies to paying off the car loan. The car loan is the last debt balance we have besides our mortgage. And we already fixed and hooked that up. But I'm like, I don't care if I'm paying 2.99% interest. That's still $50 to $60 a month that they are getting from me. And some people be like, oh, it's only $50. Like I'm paying $200 a month in interest. You need to fight for it. You need to fight and be in a place to where they are making zero money, $0 off of your borrowing. So I made it a mission to put all extra monies towards my car loan. But I was also on the phone with them because I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. Since December, we paid $4,000 towards that balance. Why is my interest finance charges still the same? Total time, I probably spent about 3 hours talking to my bank. 5, 6 different phone calls, 2 different managers calling me back, an email that's breaking down my interest because I'm like, this ain't right. Like if the balance was here and now it's here, the interest finance charges should be less, not the same.
Yeah. And just so people are clear, we're talking about percentages, right? So
percentages. Yeah.
So, let's just do round numbers. So 10% of $50,000 is $5,000, right? Yep. But 10% of $10,000 is $1,000, right? So what you're arguing is that since my total amount is lower, the percentage I should be paying should be lower. It's proportional, right? Absolutely. It shouldn't be the same because then it'd be a flat rate, right? It wouldn't be called a percentage. It'd just be a fee, right? Just a flat fee. But you're saying it's a percentage. So I hear what you're saying, but I just want to make sure people understand that.
Yep. So long story short, I'm angry because I'm like, you don't know who you're messing with. Now, somebody may be like, oh, Eva's a baller. Like she don't trip off of stuff like that. You best believe I will throw down on a phone call and make sure I'm getting my money.
Well, that's interesting because you're not the only one, in terms of people that I've met that have means. Like they got money. Money's not the issue. No, but they seem to be guided by something deeper than that. And what you're kind of getting at, you're saying, it's like it's either like a principle that you have or a value system or something. But you're basically saying, hey, they can't win, right? They can't win. They're not going to win. I don't care what the amount is. They're not winning. I'm not wasting $1, on anything, right? Yeah. Which I think is amazing. But I've definitely met some other folks that are very well positioned financially who do the same thing. They're sweating the small stuff. And I'm like, what? Why does this even matter to you?
Because we don't have time to be wasting money. I don't have time to be wasting money. Like every dollar counts in our household. That $60 a month could go to something else. Could go into my child's college education every single month. Like, and that's the thing, is that we got to get really good at knowing where our dollars are being spent. And sometimes being so mad that it's like, oh no, like this is not gonna be allowed anymore. Let's invest the time in being on the phone. Now, sometimes, the argument would be, well, I don't have time, or I work during these hours and their call centers are closed at this time, and whatever may be the thing. Most people think that these banks are closed on Saturdays. You can call your credit card company practically every single day of the week. There are some credit card companies that are open 24 hours of the day. So, granted, those tend to be the better banks. The uglier ones, they limit their hours. All the more reason why we got to get better at building and having an excellent credit score so that we have the better banking opportunities, where those better banking opportunities care about service, not about money. See, and it's so crazy, and I'm probably going to go off on a tangent real quick. I'm involved in a lot of different financial groups on Facebook. And what drives me nuts is people not fighting for the best. What do I mean by that? A lot of people are like, well, what's the lowest credit score I can have to qualify for a home loan? Why do you want to be there? You don't want to be there. The lowest credit score means higher interest rate. Higher interest rate means ugly bank. Ugly bank means when times get tough, they are not going to help you. They're going to be the first ones to foreclose on you, and there goes your house. We need to get better with our money to have better banking options so that when times get tough, you have lenders calling you. Hey, Ms. Palacios, I know there's a pandemic. Is there anything we can do to help you? Imagine if the banks called you to do that. Only one of my banks did that.
I was going to say, they did that? One of them did? Wow.
Guess who?
I don't know. Do you want to say it? You don't have to say it.
My car loan.
Oh, your car. Okay.
The ones I'm fighting with for $60 a month in interest.
Okay. Well, so they're not all bad.
They're not all bad, but that's where we need to be. We need to be at a level to where we know where all of our money's at, and on purpose, we're banking with banks and financial institutions that are going to be there to help us out when we need them the most. Yeah.
So tell me this. So why do you think that, we are not as vigilant as we, should be? Like, where do you think that comes from? I think for
not being taught.
Well, I think a lot of us have been kind of lulled to sleep, if you will. That we kind of just like, go through life, we're just kind of just doing our thing.
Stuck in the rat race. We get stuck in what everybody else is stuck in, going to work, getting a paycheck, paying the bills, and doing that forever until we change something about that equation. Yeah. And again, those automatic payments, out of sight, out of mind, we don't realize it until it's too late, until we're now $500 in the hole. And it's like, holy smokes, what happened? How did I get there?
Yeah. I think that's often like what people are, saying to themselves, like, how did we get here? How did this happen? That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like you're kind of lulled into it. Like, it's just like, you just fall in line and you just end up, being a part of the system where you're just doing what everybody else does. And
think about it. What you just said, well, if I am, freeing up $400, what's to say that I'm not going to still spend the $400? It's being so good that, okay, I'm freeing up $400. What am I going to do with that? That's going to make the situation even better. Not keep me where I'm at, but make it better.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Cause I think that's where I wanted to go, is that, so you're saying, cause you basically summed it up by saying, I want to win, right? I always want to be winning. So to me, winning means, leveling up, it's improving, it's progressing, it's always getting better. So you're saying, you approach your finances in that way. Like it sounds like, so people are in the rat race, if you will, which is kind of like synonymous with doing the same thing over and over again and staying where you are, right? You're in that hamster wheel that's going nowhere, but you running, you working, but you ain't going nowhere. Right. You're saying, no, I'm in a different race. I'm in a race to improve myself constantly, to level up, to get more. And so, okay. So yeah, so that is, I think that's, part of your value system, but that's I don't know a lot of people.
Well, and not just, and that could be like so vague, right? Well, level up and get more what?
Yeah.
Just be in a better position, getting those better banking relationships and opportunities. Right now, the reason we want to pay off that car faster, sooner rather than later is because that's going to free up $450 a month. So now I'm going to have an extra $450 a month that I then can take that $450 and do something better with.
So let's talk about that, because I think that helps people make it real. So, okay, now, all right. So Eva's now saving $450, right? Let's just never mind the fact, in terms of other stuff you have. Let's just right here. Let's stay right there. You're now saving $450. What is Eva Palacios doing with that?
If it was up to me, which I got to consult with my husband. But if it was up to me, we'd add that to the mortgage. Instead of it getting paid off in 15 years, it's going to get paid off in 7.
Adding $450 would pay you half it?
Well, yeah. Because remember, we refinanced the house.
Yeah.
$2,300 went down to $1,700.
Yeah.
We kept it at $2,300. So that instead of it being a 30-year, now it's going to be a 15. Oh. Now we're going to add $450 more, which was the car payment. It's going to cut it back in half. Now 7 years, we're going to have California house paid off.
Wow. Okay. That sounds cool, but for some people who are like, okay, well, my house is paid off, so what? Not to say, that is a big deal, but tell me the rest of the plan, because I think people still need to hear that. Okay, so now you got your house paid off in 7 years. So tell me how. What are your
girl gonna disappear?
Don't say that.
In a good way. I might just take a sabbatical.
Okay.
Like that. We're going to be on an island for like a month somewhere. The ultimate goal, so here's the thing, everything that I do financially, I do it. So number one, I can say I did it, but number two, I can teach others how to do it too. It's so easy for people to say, oh, I can't do that. Or I've never heard of somebody doing that. Or that's not possible, or that's not going to work. So I like to always be not necessarily the guinea pig, but I want to be the proof in the pudding. I want to be able to say, I did this. And I'm nobody special. I'm just driven. I just set a goal and get it done, but I do it so that I can be able to inspire other people to do it. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to invest in real estate, have multiple properties, paying for our future crazy lifestyle. Like right now, and I don't know, there are people that, need to celebrate wins. Me, I don't feel that I need to celebrate wins until I'm for sure winning. And when I celebrate, guess what our celebration is? We taking a family vacation and we're building memories and we're, raising our boys with this type of environment so they can see, well, shoot, mom and dad did it. Like I can do it too. Like that's what it's all about. It's about being the inspiration around somebody that can give them the driving force to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And not be born into money that gave them the ability to do it. But just being a 9-to-5er for 17 years and now taking this and leveling it up, because there are people winning every single day. Why not you?
Yeah. So okay. So let's just, I just want to make it real for the folks before we end this. So you pay off your house in 7 years. Let's say all this works.
That's the goal. I don't know. Life is going to happen. So we don't know, but that's the goal right now.
Yes. So what happens then? Because at this point, then what I'm imagining is you're now free and clear. You obviously have to pay taxes, but you have a property that is worth $600,000+ that you don't owe any money on. So all that equity is yours.
Yeah.
That's a lot of leverage in terms of, borrowing against it, making your own credit card, equity line of credit, all this stuff that you can do with the house, right?
It's an option. It becomes an option. Instead of it being a liability, it now becomes an option as a savings vehicle that I can, borrow from if I need to. But ultimately, with the other investments that I've made in real estate, let's talk about those. Taking those profits and reinvesting it in more real estate. Not taking the profits and let's just go buy all kinds of crazy stuff, but let's take that money. That's money we didn't have to begin with. It's money that we made. It's profits. We didn't have that money to begin with. So take that money, roll it over into another real estate project, flip it, and keep doing it. And my goal is to flip real estate until we make our first $1 million in profits. Once we do that, then we're going to buy a big old apartment complex and collect all these rents on a building that's completely owned free and clear.
Okay. See, this is what
that's the ultimate goal.
So I think that's what people need to hear, right? They need to hear like you trying to get apartment buildings out here.
And then once I have the apartment buildings, then I want to build a community, like buy land, new construction, build housing. And I want to make this housing special. Like I want to I don't know, my vision is so crazy. Like imagine, Charles, if all of my Lions got so good with their money and we came together and bought land and created a community that empowered people to become homeowners at a better position than what the other banks are doing.
Yeah. So guys, you just heard a little sneak peek of the conversations that Eva and I have. There is a method to the madness. And that is actually one of our big vision, big goals for this community is to, position everyone into a place where, you can invest into, this development that Eva has in her dreams. That will not only, bless folks in terms of it's okay. It's all right. Eva's getting a little emotional, y'all, for those who can't see. But it's a dream that will not only, help the people that are investing, obviously, because you're investing in real estate and assets, but also blessing people in the community of the, deserving families that want to, have a nice community to stay in and have nice homes. And, that's just a very special thing. So awesome. And I'm glad you got the guy. I was like, come on, tell us the real goal here, the real agenda, because that's deep. It's powerful. It is very strong. It's very compelling. So now I understand why you want to fight for every red cent, because you're like, listen, I got this humongous goal. A lot of people ain't trying to build a community, right? they just like, let me just get to Friday. That's all I need to do.
Yes.
I just want to go out to eat every so often. But you no, I'm trying to build massive, stuff. I'm trying to build houses. And so, hats off to you for that. And thank you, I'll just thank you in the future. I'm thanking you in advance right now for what you're going to do, because I believe you're going to do it. I believe we're going to figure this thing out, and we're going to keep going until that's the reality. Amazing. Okay. All right, Eva. So,
you got it out of me. We got to dig deep on that. And I'm okay. This is okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so before we head out, I just want to give you one last opportunity to talk to the folks about, how to spend wisely. I think, people hear that a lot, and, there's so many memes, and some people feel judged. Some people feel like they're winning. It's all a lot of, it's all contextual, right? So
right.
I feel like, there's a lot that we can learn about it, but it's also about our value system and kind of what motivates us. And so, if you could just talk to the people generally about spending wisely, how should they approach spending so that they are always in a position where they themselves are winning?
Absolutely. And guys, it just comes down to being aware and knowing where your money is going. Every single dollar, how much is that cable bill? How much is that energy bill? For those, here's another tip for the energy bills. Everybody's going to pay lights. Everybody's going to pay heat. Guess what? Did you know that most energy companies will give a discount for either seniors or health-related issues or income level issues? So guess what? If you've got a parent that lives with you that's taking care of you, put the bill in their name and you will have a senior discount, a medical benefit discount, a low income discount, and that's how we can save on the energy bill. Cable bill, call them, switch it between you and your spouse or somebody that's over 18 in the house as a new user, get the bill lowered. Go through, cut back any unnecessary expenses just for the time being. We're not telling you to sacrifice your life forever, but I promise you, you making these sacrifices now and making those phone calls now, it's going to make you more aware in fighting for every single dollar that's being spent that you're actually going to start loving. Now it's going to become a game. Like, okay, who else can I call and get them to lower my payment for me so I can win? It can also even mean calling your lenders, your auto loans, your mortgage loans, your personal loans, and asking them for a deferment of your payment. Our income has suffered due to COVID. Can I skip a month? Can I skip 3 months? My car loan called me and they're like, Ms. Palacios, how can we help you? And I'm like, oh, snap. I wasn't even thinking about this. They allowed me to skip 3 months worth of payments. No, make sure it is not a negative impact on your credit report. As long as it's not a negative impact on the credit report, you can skip 3 months worth of payments. Yes, interest will still grow. When I announced this way back when, people are like, why in the world would you do that? Because I could use an extra $1,500, $450 times 3, and I could take that $1,500 and apply it someplace else, like catching up with your rent, paying a bill that is in collections, you negotiate a settlement. So just make sure you get good with knowing where your money's going, when you free up cash flow, the best place to put it so that it's actually helping the full financial picture and not just a one-time situation. And if you're not too sure how all of that works, then definitely get with me because I can teach you.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys don't stand on the sidelines. Reach out, go to, get in the groups, be active, go to the webinar, get in the coaching program. We have a coaching program. If you guys haven't caught on to that, stop being on the sidelines. So thank you, Eva. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios. One of the things that Eva enjoys most about being in personal finance is seeing people win. So if you are looking to improve your credit score because you're ready to make a major purchase, get better rates, or start living life on your own terms, visit Eva at evaempowers.com and schedule a consultation with her so you too can live life empowered.